My fellow hockey fanatics, my name's TJ Sokoluk, and welcome to the Keep Time Sports Desk. I'd like to talk today about the 2021 playoffs and the triumph of will over skill in the Canadian North Division. The structure of this year's playoffs has presented a significant difference in how the playoffs would start, and ultimately, who could go home with the Stanley Cup. Now, according to most media outlets and fans, we likely should have been seeing Edmonton facing off against Toronto to determine the Canadian seat in the semifinals. But as any fan of any team can tell you, this year's playoffs were far from typical. In the West, we had Winnipeg stopping Edmonton from gaining any sort of traction, slapping them out of their playoff spot with a Series 1 sweep, the only time since their 2017 departure from the playoffs in the second round against the Anaheim Ducks. Can't say that I'm terribly sad to see it. Heading to the East, we had a total upset of a 4-3 victory of Montreal over Toronto. This led to the complete underdog meeting of Montreal versus Winnipeg, which also ended in another playoff sweep in Montreal's favor. Now listen, I'm not here to reiterate any of the speculative claims that the media has made about Montreal. Whether it was the claim that we would definitely win Game 7 going against Toronto, or any of the claims that the Habs were certain to bring home the Stanley Cup this year. I'm a pretty superstitious person when it comes to hockey, and I know that the rink gods would jinx the boys if I were to side with any of that. But I do have to point out that there is a fire on Montreal's bench that frankly, even I wasn't ready for. Showing the true passion and spirit leading to an incredible force of will over skill. After taking a victory in Game 1 against Toronto, the Habs lost 3 straight games. A tough pill for any team to swallow, but also a very dangerous spot to be in, as another loss would spell elimination. 3 games without a loss would be the only option, but for the Canadians, even that wasn't enough. Game 5 of this series would begin an insane streak of 437 minutes without trailing in score at any point, the second largest of any such streak, the first place position being held by the 1960s Canadians at 488 minutes. This streak would carry them through the 3 games needed to stomp out Toronto and then through the Series 2 sweep of the Jets. Unfortunately, this streak would end during Game 1 against the Golden Knights, facing off against ex-Hab Max Pacioretty. The breaking of this streak also resulted in a loss of Game 1, but that's something that I'm sure that pretty much everybody was expecting. But then the Habs came back and won another 2 in a row. Game 4 was a nail-biter, ending in overtime with the Knights overtaking the Canadians in a 2-1 victory. So the series now sits at 2-2. Montreal, if nothing else this playoff season, has proven that they are not a force to be ruled out, and they are not a team that is willing to accept elimination. At least not without one hell of a fight. Now, do I hope that this impressive display from the Habs ends in a cup victory? Of course I do. However, plenty of Canadians obviously don't. But if you ask me, it's about time that the cup came home to Canada at the very least. I mean, it hasn't happened in my lifetime, and the last Canadian team to bring it home was the 1993 Canadiens. Now, I have an obvious bias towards the Canadiens during this postseason, but first and foremost, I'm a fan of hockey. So, no matter the outcome, even if we lose 2 games in a row starting tonight, I can wholeheartedly say that this playoff run, I have seen some truly incredible hockey being played. And at the end of the day, I think that's really all we want. But thank you all, and this has been TJ Sokoluk reporting for the Keep Time Sports Desk. And remember, sports.